Hi everyone, I'm Emily, and today we are learning the science behind invisible ink. For this one, you're going to need some lemon juice, a candle, a Q-tip, and a piece of paper. And because we're using a candle and a flame, you need some adult supervision. So the first thing you want to do is just dip your Q-tip in your lemon juice, just like that, and draw a secret message on your paper, just like so. And we're gonna let that dry for about 5 or 10 minutes. Doesn't have to be too long. And while we wait for that to dry, let's talk about what's going on here. First, I want to ask you a question. Why do things turn black when we burn them? Everything from chicken to marshmallows to toast to paper. When we burn them, they turn black. Why is that? Part of the answer has to do with carbon, which in my opinion is the queen of all the elements. And that's because out of the 118 confirmed elements on the periodic table, all life forms on Earth are based off of one, carbon. All living things here on Earth are carbon-based, which means everything from me to you to your pets to the things we eat, including vegetables, right? Because plants are living things. To the clothes we wear. These things are made out of cotton and wool and silk, things that come from living beings. Carbon is all around us. And when we burn things that are made out of carbon, we start a bunch of chemical reactions that leave us with carbon-based residue that looks black. Now, not all carbon is black, right? Diamonds are made out of carbon and they're not black, but when we create carbon in this way, they are. The other piece of the puzzle has to do with sugar. What happens when we heat sugar? Well, when we heat sugar alone, it caramelizes. This is how we create caramel. And when we heat sugar that's in the presence of proteins, it browns through a process called the Maillard reaction. So the types of invisible inks that you'll see are things like lemon juice or milk or sugar water, things that contain sugar and other carbon compounds. So when we burn them, we're creating carbon-based residue and we're browning the sugar that's within them. And the important part here is that all of this happens at a lower temperature than the paper would burn. And so if we're careful, we can burn our ink alone and not the paper around it. So we can check back in on our invisible message. I tested out a few different types of invisible inks, including lemon juice plus sugar or lemonade, milk, sugar water, and then water as just sort of a control. There we go. So here we have lemon, just lemon juice, milk, sugar water, and then lemonade at the bottom. Water's at the top. You can tell you can't see it at all. I found that lemonade really worked the best, but the downside with adding sugar to anything means that it's going to be a bit more glossy and it's going to be a little bit less invisible, but it definitely makes the lemon juice show up better. So to summarize, invisible inks, they burn because carbon-based things, when we burn them, they leave behind carbon-based residue, and things that contain sugar, when we heat them up, they turn brown. And that is the science behind invisible ink.